Welcome back to the Nerdrotic channel. My name is Gary Beekler. I am live in San Francisco, California, and I come to you from nerdrotic.com. And tonight we are covering Castle Rock, Season 1, Episode 4, The Box. And Dennis, down in San Diego, this is a kind of a funny name for a show that's a mystery box, isn't it?
I thought we were covering Fraggle Rock.
No.
Oh, shit. I watched the wrong episode then.
Oh, well, that's okay.
It's not about puppets underground?
No. The only show about puppets that's good is Farscape and the Muppet Show. So yeah, let's start. Hello, everybody in the chat. We'll get to you after we recap the episode briefly. Hope you're all doing well. We did return to this. I'll say up front that I thought it was a pretty decent episode. I was entertained by it. I will say. I don't know if I'm 100% sold on it. But we have kind of a rule here that if we get the 4 episodes in and we don't like it, we stop covering it. I'm not there yet. I think I'm intrigued enough. I don't know, Dennis, what about you?
You know how I feel about mystery boxes. It's if they don't give you enough, I'm kind of like, yeah, and this isn't giving enough as far as I'm concerned. So it's and also there's no likable characters. That's what what I've gotten to so far, and that's what's kind of throwing it off for me. If you have no likable characters, then why? You have to have at least one.
Well, I like Pangborn. I like Sheriff Pangborn quite a bit. That's who I'm holding on to. We're not too sure. Well, we could see where they're going with Henry Deaver. Okay. At least I can, unless they really flip the script on that. But let's start unpacking the episode a little bit, and we'll get over that.
Yeah. So we're still having Henry, trying to. He's getting ready to file paperwork for the kid, as they're calling him now. They're just calling him the kid because they don't have a name still. And they're basically he's trying to get him more money because they've turned down that offer. It was $300,000 that they were going to give him.
Yeah.
And just say, hey, this never happened, and just let him out and give him $300,000. And he was like, no, fuck that. We're not taking that. We're going to take this to court. And we also have the guard, Dennis, is his name. It's easier for me to remember, is working, and we see him actually walking into the prison and what his daily routine is, and we're seeing more and more violence happening in the prison. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, as soon as they brought him out, the bad stuff is start happening, and this falls into what Pangborn said is keep that fucking kid in the cage. And Castle Rock has been somewhat trouble-free since then, and now that they brought him out and the old warden had killed himself, stuff is starting to happen. And we also saw him touch the neo-Nazi, and he died of just insta-cancer.
Yeah.
And
oh, that's right.
Yes.
We almost forgot something here. Spoilers. If you haven't watched the episode, we are going to spoil the shit out of this. So yeah, go and watch the episode, or don't and watch us, however you want to do this. That's all I'm going to say. Spoilers abound from here on out. So yeah, and Dennis walking into the booth, the video booth, and the girl that he's relieving, she's like, would a kid eat a fucking smile? And he does the fake smile.
Yeah.
And we're seeing this day in, day out. He's doing this, and she always has some kind of quippy comment for him, like what was the other one? Plastic surgery is more expensive than a smile.
Yeah.
Or if you're happy and it, clap your hands.
Clap your hands. Yeah.
Claps his hand. There's things like that as he's going through this. And in the meantime, Henry Deaver is having his own little flashbacks. He is remembering some stuff that he wasn't, that he doesn't remember as a kid. And this is as he's sleeping. He wakes up in the middle of the night, and all the lights are on the house, which I thought was kind of weird.
Well, yeah, it starts with him sleeping, and then we get to see something approaching him. The door was opening, the light was on. I don't know if it's a ghost, if it's an entity, if it's in his head. He was dreaming. We're not sure, but we did see something kind of following him in episode 1 too. So we don't quite know what this is, but that whatever the shadowy figure that he saw, it looked like he had something in his hand, like a screwdriver or something. I couldn't tell. But there was definitely something in his hand. He woke up and then it wasn't there. So I'm still kind of wondering, like, what this show is. Is it straight up horror? Is it just a bunch of murderers and maybe just bad luck? Is it aliens? I have no idea right now. I definitely believe there's some supernatural involved. And when we get later on after this, when we finish talking about the episode, I'll give you a couple of my theories.
Yeah, and so one of the things is we also see the assistant warden comes into the kid, and his holding cell, goes, "Oh, it's kind of roomy in here now that you don't have a roommate anymore, huh?" And talking about how the prison is now owned by a corporation, by a multinational corporation, and how he used to work. He was in the sandbox, as he called it. So he was in the Middle East. That's where he joined up with this multinational corporation. He goes, "We had a guy like you who didn't have a name," and he says, "We, after 3 weeks, we fed him his teeth, one by one. It was the Clean Plate Club." He says, and by the end of that, when we got to his molars, he told us everybody. We told him his name and then also a list of other names. And this is when the kid gets up and starts quoting Revelations.
Yeah, he has a name written on him, which no one knows except himself. A robe dripped in blood, which is the word of God. And I'm paraphrasing because I don't know.
So yeah, actually, this whole Revelations that he's quoting is actually about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. So
yes.
So your whole theory about him being one of the 4 horsemen, I think, is correct. That's where I'm getting at on that.
And maybe Henry Deaver is another. And maybe they don't know they're horsemen. I do like the whole thing where so the devil or evil as an entity is hidden within a child, and maybe a child who's not evil himself. He's just like a vessel. And has no real control over it, which would be the perfect place to hide your evil. I'm sorry, I'm going to use like kind of like in Time Bandits. It's just evil.
It's concentrated evil.
Yeah, and that'd be the perfect place to hide it from God or whatever in a child, and an innocent child. It's kind of evil. So I like that concept, and I'll say right now, like if that's where they go with this, if that's where they end up going like full on biblical demons and shit, like, okay, I'm in. But I think it's going to be more grounded than that.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't think they're going to go that, because that would be good. And this J.J. Abrams, I don't think we're going to go that way. I'm sorry, but I don't have hopes on that, that high hopes on it. So we also have Henry talking to Alan. They're going to go remove his father's remains, which are out in Augusta for some reason. And that was a weird thing that I didn't get. Why was he buried all the way out in Augusta?
They moved him. They moved the body. Remember, he went to go visit his father's grave, which I'm very curious about because I don't think he had the best relationship, but I guess maybe it wasn't as bad. I'm not sure, but it was paved over, and Pangborn had told him that they moved all the bodies to a landfill in Augusta.
Yeah, but it still was kind of weird considering that, the father, was a pastor, and why they didn't move him, like he was saying, to the church cemetery. It was just kind of a weird thing. So it kind of didn't make sense to me, other than getting them alone together so they could talk about him moving his mother to Texas.
Yep.
That's pretty much all I got out of it, was that it was, okay, so this is just a little plot device to get these two alone so they can talk about moving her to Texas. And Pangborn basically going, I'll just marry her then. And he goes, yeah, so what are you going to do? You're going to sign her name on the, on the marriage license for her? Is what Henry is saying. And yeah, there's some really bad stuff going on between
there's some tension between the two, and you find out later what it is. Pangborn's been protecting his ass the whole time, and he seems, and plus he took off on his mom, like for a good reason. He bailed out of the town because everybody thought he killed his dad.
Yeah. They kept looking at him like he said, like Pangborn actually says, he is the way everyone looks at you, the way they do.
Yep.
And
they finds out there's been an affair going on with with his mom for 30 years too.
Because he says, what were you doing out there 30 years ago? He goes, it was 11 days. He goes, I was presumed dead at that point. He goes, so were you out there for her? So how long has this relationship been going on? That's what he says.
Yep. And apparently Henry hasn't really asked these questions like what happened to him.
They've never really talked. Him and his mom have never really talked about this. And he actually, after that little confrontation, when he gets back home, he ends up talking to his mom, Ruth, and suggests possibly moving. She's actually gutting some trout in the sink there. And he talks about moving, possibly to Texas. And she's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Why would I do that?
Yeah, you bring me out of this house in a box.
Yeah.
I'm taking me to Texas, Henry Diva.
Yeah, and she's actually holding the knife towards him too.
Yeah.
So you can never know, because you never know where she is mentally on that. So yeah, it was kind of a weird.
Sissy Spacek is doing a great job in the show.
Yeah, she's doing a great job for what little she's got going on here. And then we see Molly. So Molly, in the meantime, is trying to sell a house, and she is probably the worst realtor that we've ever seen.
Yeah.
And
she doesn't do a lot of prep.
No, she doesn't do a lot of prep. She's trying to sell the warden's house, and she's got some people that are there. And as she's walking through the house, like, she sees the condolences card for his death, which she takes down off the mantle, his ashes or his cremains, which are sitting on the table, which she hides in the freezer. And then she finds out that the people that are looking at the house are from out of town. And she's like, oh, why are you coming to Castle County from Iowa? And they're like, oh, we just, change of pace. And she goes, and she sits them down and starts talking about, because he finds the cremains in the freezer, the husband.
Yeah.
And says, what's this going? And then she has to say, okay, he committed suicide, but not in the house.
But not in the house.
Not like my house, which, there was a serial killer that lived there, killed dozens of people. And I sleep.
Strangler.
Yeah.
Yes, the Dead Zone Strangler. So she lives in the Dead Zone. I'm blanking on his name right now, but you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
The one who did himself with the scissors.
Yeah.
The movie.
And so, I mean, she's just sitting down having a heart-to-heart with these people that the town is strange. She goes, but once the downtown gets revitalized, everything should be okay.
Right.
So she's really kind of shooting herself in the foot. And that was actually kind of funny. I mean, just watching her doing that little dance, if you will.
Yeah, she's kind of the character I'm having the hardest time with, though. Just knowing they showed it's weird. The reveals they've made in this show, they've made a lot of reveals, and it's early, which makes you believe that they're either not true or there's not that much weight to them, and there's much worse coming down the pike. We don't know. This show is definitely a slow burn.
Real slow burn.
No doubt about that. But we see that she killed Henry's dad. I'm gonna where is her redemptive tale? And is it because she was feeling empathy with Henry, which is interesting.
Yeah,
we'll find out later.
So we go back to the prison, and Dennis is, of course, we're watching the video monitors, and he actually goes down and talks to the kid and is encouraging him to stay strong. This is, by the way, after he had talked to Henry at the bar. I take that back. So he actually talks to Henry in the bar, and Henry's like, we shouldn't be seen together, especially if we're going to be doing this, if we're going to be taking this to trial.
And he brings up evidence, and the evidence is a poorly drawn cage of what the cage looks like on no paper.
Yeah, on no paper. Yes. They tore it down. And Henry's like, you're going to just look at like a disgruntled employee. He goes, I am a fucking disgruntled employee. And he goes, yeah, but you can't play that. He goes, otherwise you're going to kill everything here. And he says, don't contact me, I'll contact you, kind of thing. So Dennis is back in the prison. He's looking at the kid through the monitor, and he goes down and talks to him, and he says, stay strong. He goes, in about a week, we're going to go to trial, all that kind of stuff, and everything's going to be good. And he puts his fist through the door. And the kid looks at him, and he goes, make your hand into a fist, and he goes, and touch it against mine. Which, of course, we've already seen what happens when this kid touches people.
Yep. So he fist bumps him, and ominous music plays.
Yeah, ominous music plays, and he gets a little smile on his face. Yeah, a little smirk, the kid. Very, very subtle. In the meantime, Henry is cycling through microfiche at the library because he's got little details about his own disappearance that brings up the name Vincent Desjardin. And that's a name that is from the body in Carrie, by the way. So just so you fans of the books know where he's
there you go. See, that one I didn't catch.
Yeah.
That one I didn't catch.
And he was released from prison about a month before Henry's disappearance and had a felony count. So we don't know what it is because it's been scrubbed from the records. He can't find it. Henry can't find it. That's why he's looking at the microfiche to find out where it's at. And he actually goes home and talks to his mom and says, hey, do you know about the Desjardins? And she kind of remembers them out there. And she goes, yeah, well, everyone thought they were Nazis because they lived out in the woods. And she goes, well, they thought that about a lot of different people that were, they thought so-and-so was a witch because she slaughtered her own pigs, that kind of thing, or Satan worshiper. That's what it was, a Satan worshiper. She slaughtered her own pigs. And he ends up going out to the Desjardins house, and it's all this dilapidated house out in the middle of nowhere. And he starts snooping around. There's nobody there. So he's looking around, and we see like a piano that's fallen through the ceiling, and from the second floor to the first floor. And he sees two pairs of shoes. I don't know if you noticed, there was a man's pair of shoes and a kid's pair of shoes.
Yeah, they focused on that for like 30 seconds. So it's like, there's definitely kids been here. Please notice.
And then he goes out back and finds a little shed because he's been having visions of being in a box playing with a car in the dirt is what he keeps having visions of. And the box is locked. So he ends up getting a shovel, breaking it open, and inside is a bowl of what looks like very old cereal with a spoon inside of it. So dogs don't eat with a spoon.
No.
And obviously,
then you recognize the actor. He's from Legion. It was the guy he was talking to, the barber, the one he's eventually yeah, he was from Legion.
I didn't recognize him.
Yes, he was that Cartwright or something like that. He was the general. He gets kind of folded up in the first.
That's right.
And then they brought him back in some flashbacks that was really out of time. Yeah, so he's from Legion. Great show.
Yeah, people. And he plays Vince's brother.
Yes, and he's awesome. I love the guy's totally creepy.
Yeah, he did a really good creepy thing where he was talking about how his brother didn't live there, that he lived there all that time. And Henry's asking him all these questions. Do you have any dogs? Do you have any dogs when he was out here? And this guy is actually out there giving haircuts out in the woods, which is just weird. I mean, just really, really kind of creepy.
Figures out it's Henry Deaver, and he starts, listen, I went through shit. I went through tons of stuff because my brother went through an insurance claim and cut off like a piece of his finger, and I kept the bones, and they thought that was really weird. And he got out early, but they thought he was the one who took Henry. He got questioned all the time, and he's pretty resentful. But he sits down to Henry. He goes, and he goes talks about I love talking about carbon dating, and that whole creepy thing. And then he's all, I never touched you. I never touched but he doesn't know. Henry has no idea. We're seeing Henry's memories.
And so he also takes him upstairs to his room, and he goes, I got something I got to show you.
Yeah.
And he brings him up there, and we can see this guy's a hoarder. He's got crap all over the place, and it goes into the room that he's sleeping in, and underneath the bed, he pulls out this waterlogged box, and it's Henry's police report. And he said that was supposed to be burned up in the fire. He goes, they got rid of all the records. He goes, no. He goes, this went home because the woman who kept the court record, she didn't want to see anything being thrown away. So she took it home, put it in her basement, and then when her pipes burst, they ended up here.
Yeah.
Or in the dump.
He dug them out of the dump. Weirdo. So why would he do that? Why would he go through that much trouble though?
Yeah.
But we never find out. Because they cut away. It seems like there was more to that scene because they ended the scene with him saying, I never touched you. And then it's like, okay. And scene's over.
I got something to show you. Yeah. Exactly.
It's like, what?
There's a lot of things like that in this episode that kind of frustrated me when I was watching it, just because, it seemed like they kept cutting away, especially the whole thing with, and I'm just going to go with it. Henry goes over to talk to Molly at her house, and she invites him in. I'm like, okay. And then at one point we see him laying in bed, which obviously isn't his bed. We don't see her in the same room. And he's like texting or calling up Dennis to tell him, hey, I'm leaving town.
Yeah, this is a change of plans. Like,
yeah,
shit's going sideways, and well, the reason he's doing that was what he was told before that. You're getting a little ahead. Yeah, because he has a little talk with Pangborn again. And there was a cool little scene that we brushed over too. It was like a little on Golden Pond scene. Between Sissy Spacek and Scott Glenn. It was the best scene in the damn show of her just talking about it. It just, she's like, I'm your little Viking. It was basically, you're my knight in shining armor. It was a very cool scene. But then Pangborn has another scene with Henry Deaver where he basically says, yeah, I know who killed him.
Yeah,
your dad told me the whole fucking time it was you.
Yeah.
And he's like, what? So he freaks out, goes to Molly, and Molly was like, listen, whatever you did wasn't your fault. You were a kid. And he's, so he's ready to bail. And he calls Dennis
they kind of glossed over the whole thing with him and Molly sleeping together too. And the way they got around that was by putting them in separate rooms.
I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, he's laying in her bed. That's her bed that he's in. She's in a different room. That's why I said it was so poorly done, and that it took me a while. I was like, she's sitting there, kind of looking at it, going,
I'll have to rewatch it. I don't know how important that is, though. And like, even if you got a shag, so what? Get a shag before you go out of town.
The empathy, that plays into the whole empathy thing of.
Okay. I don't remember that happening, but okay.
Yeah, that's why it was kind of a weird. Completely. Yeah, it was just very weird the way they framed it, and I was like, well, why'd you guys do it that way instead of just having her get up out of bed and going to the next room?
Maybe it was missing a scene.
It was very odd. And so the next morning, Dennis gets the message, and he hears it on his phone, and we see him. He's looking very pale and gaunt already. In his eyes, he has circles around his eyes. He's already been saying he doesn't sleep all that well. And he goes in, and he's been drawing also on the monitors with a dry erase marker. He's been putting happy faces on all the monitors. And then we see him pick up the dry erase marker again, and we see him write on the monitors. And then he opens up the gun cabinet, pulls out a gun, and starts going through the prison and starts shooting guards.
Shooting all the people he put the sad faces on, right? Or the X's. He was putting happy faces on the first time, and then anything he put an X is like, that's who he starts plugging everybody. And Henry Deaver's at the prison.
Yeah,
he sees him there too.
Yeah, he's at the prison actually to say that they're going to take the money.
Yeah, they're going to take the
$300,000. Yeah,
$300,000. Yeah,
and the other thing, I don't know if you noticed, but where all the guards dropped in the video when you're seeing it on the monitor is the exact same place they dropped when when Dennis saw that first vision of the kid escaping. And so that was, it was all kind of foretold, if you will.
Yes, it was.
And so at the very last moment there, Dennis is walking through into the warden's office where Henry is sitting at, and he's got his gun drawn, and he's got it pointed at Henry. And he says, I
want to testify.
Yeah, I want to testify, because he wanted to, whistle blow about everything that was going on.
And they flash bombed him.
Yeah, they flash bomb him, and two guys with shotguns come in and shoot a shotgun right next to Henry's ear and kill Dennis.
Yep. And they're playing Crying Over You, that song. That was good. It was good. The ending was crazy.
The ending was good. Yeah, I mean, but still at the same time,
but the loss of Dennis, he was such a good character. I was like, no, dude. So honestly, he was kind of my favorite. I mean, besides Pangborn, he was my favorite character, and they just offed him. I'm like, okay. I mean, I 10 out of 10 for balls, but I'm not sure if that was, you killed the right person.
Yeah.
If I have a choice, which I don't.
Yeah. I don't know either. It just, I don't know. There's something missing in this series. I don't know. I can't quite put my finger on
R.I.P. Dennis. Says Mystery Bunny Gaming. God damn, your names are great in the chat. Mystery Bunny Gaming. We will get to you very shortly, chat. Yeah, that's how it ends. And I'm like, motherfucker. So maybe he'll like come back and haunt the place. I don't know. We lost two great characters.
Yeah.
We lost the best one in the beginning. So I don't know. I do like Andre Holland. I think he's a good actor. He is playing the Stephen King everyman who gets caught in the very weird situation. I think he's doing that very well, especially with the dark past. I just need to know a little. They seem like they're telling us a lot about his kidnapping, but they're not. They're really not. They're not telling us enough.
Yeah. And there's something that's missing. I don't know exactly what it is about this, and I don't know. There's just something that doesn't feel right.
It's I kind of dial back my judgment on a first season of a show. I mean, that's going to be changing over time because these are almost like films at this point. First seasons are really tough. They're really tough, and this is really ambitious what they're doing. And I like Stephen King. Okay, I do. I like some of his books. I am not a super fan. And I'm really curious to people who watch this as a video and you in the chat, if you are a Stephen King super fan, how do you feel about this? Like, are they giving you enough nods? It seems like they're throwing in some Easter eggs and like some people actually exist. Like this is an alternative Stephen King dimension. So or whatever, the King cinematic universe is now a TV universe. And I think they can have a lot of fun with this stuff. There's tons of potential. I think what you're missing, Dennis, is a fullness. It doesn't feel full yet.
I guess.
It seems like we're just really, we're introducing so many characters, but we feel so enclosed. There's too much mystery around them. It's almost like they should have had a little bit of a they kind of did this in the first episode, but maybe a full-on 15-minute like prequel, like a rundown of like what's gone on in Castle Rock instead of just a voiceover like showing us.
You know what they need more of, honestly, and I know this is what her character is in there for, is Jane Levy's character, who has all the information on everything going on in the town, and basically just have her, when he goes to the bar or something like that, have her pop up, and she feeds him some information that he needs, some pertinent information that we all need.
At the panel at Comic-Con, they made her seem like a bigger character than she has been so far. She's only been in it like once or twice.
One episode. That was it.
Maybe she's going to be in it more. But I'm intrigued enough. I don't know if you guys are. I'm intrigued enough to continue. I'm not completely sold. This isn't, but it could go either way at this point for me. So let's get to the chat, dude.
Yeah. And by the way, Mary Ashmead, yes, the kid is a Skarsgård. He's the one who played Pennywise the clown in the It movie.
Yeah, I don't know if he's related to all the other Skarsgårds, but
yeah, he is. There's like 18,000 of them. They're kind of like the Baldwins. They just keep,
except more talented.
Yeah, exactly.
Dennis is kissed by fire. By the way, that's the Game of Thrones reference. Except he's not redheaded; he's red skinned right now.
Yes. I get a lot of sun at work, so let's just say that. Thank you, Penn Farm Girl. Penn Farm Girl says, Artemis, Dennis was too hot with the goatee. I was physically like hot with it, so, and it didn't fall off. I had to just shave it off because the humidity and all that stuff. So where are we here? Movie Fanobi says Vikings drink but don't murder until after the happy ending. I don't know what that was.
Okay. It's good to know. That's good to know.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna move down a little bit because it looked like they were just kind of chatting while we were there.
Mary, he probably wishes he could have that fist bump back for sure.
Yeah, I know, really. Slurmy Scott, we all saw the Dennis from the Dark Universe. Just mentioned Grand Canyon.
Grand Canyon.
No,
that's his trigger word.
That is my trigger word. MK Ultra
but your safety word is pineapple, right? Is
mango.
Mango. That's right. No, mine's pineapple. I forgot. I forgot my own safety word. God damn it. Pineapple. I mean, mango. I mean, shit.
MK Ultra is now wireless. Says weird how many of these Hollywood directors are being exposed as pedophile. Okay,
that's for an open Friday night podcast. Yeah. Save it for Friday. We'll be talking about that plenty.
Mako says Gary can be a heartthrob if he shaves his head and goes all Viking. Dennis is hot no matter what. Thank you, Mako.
There you go. Not shaving my head.
I don't know if anyone's really talking about this show.
Yeah.
As I'm going through
if you take away the references, the show reminds me a lot of American Horror Story. What do you think? Yeah, I think it's kind of a poor man's one.
Yeah. I keep wanting to say, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box? Every time I watch the show. And they're talking about they're talking about band shows and stuff like that. Sorry. There we go. Artemis Overeas, he says, so I haven't watched Castle Rock yet. Overall assessment, sounds like Gary and Dennis kind of like it. Gary likes it a lot more than me.
I like it more than him. But I mean, liking it is like I'm barely liking it. So I'm it's no like even with Krypton, like I liked the first couple episodes and it just went freaking downhill. Kind of the same way with Cloak and Dagger, although Cloak and Dagger's rallied a little bit. Yeah, we'll see. I try to give shows a fair shot. Watch the Star Trek Discovery reviews. I gave that a fair shot. I'll just stick to my Shawshank Redemption. It says movie Finobi. Oh yeah.
Hey, I just want to tell you, Spock's going to talk about feelings in the next season, right?
I'm sure he is. I heard about that. I don't know any news right now. I was too busy working.
Philip Academic says, I know this was written over 30 years ago, but after watching Oz, Orange is the New Black, and Wentworth, I'm surprised more COs don't go on killing sprees.
My, what a sexy logo on Gary's shirt. I wish I knew a cart on the street that sold them. A friendly old lady who loves nerds because they always help her with their groceries and avocados. That'd be my mom. No, we will know soon. We will know soon. By the end of the month, we will know. I've got a couple options. You definitely don't want this shirt though. It's very thick. Very thick.
Oh, I guess the guy who played Desjardin was also in Hemlock Grove, is what a lot of people are saying.
Whatever he is, he's good at what he does, being creepy.
Yeah, actually, a lot of people are not talking about this show at all. They're talking about everything else. But
the Dead Zone was great with Chris Walken. Yes.
There we go. Jody says, Gary and Dennis, do you think this show will suffer from the Abrams touch, like what happens with his shows? Solid start, but disappointing end. It's got to have a solid start first. Dun-dun-dun. Yeah, I like I said early on when we were talking about this, is that we think that this might have been another show that had the Stephen King universe kind of added onto it, kind of like 12 Monkeys did, where 12 Monkeys was actually a show called Splinter before, and then had the property 12 Monkeys added into it. And then
that happens a lot. I mean, that happens a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised at all, like if this was pitched, differently and they're like, hey, what if we this is where the genius of JJ Abrams, like in his 5 minutes of attention, he goes, why don't you mix it with Stephen King stuff, which could work. We'll see how it plays out.
Yeah, I think they need to go a little bit more Stephen King heavy, if you will. They keep giving us Easter eggs. I think that's what's missing for me, is they need to go heavy, lean into the Stephen King a bit more. And
yeah, that's what I was kind of hoping for too, is don't ground it so much. I mean, that's been the biggest problem. It's like go full on horror. Bring in demons, bring it all in, bring everything Stephen King is. Put a crack, that whole boundary with the Dark Tower and all that shit, where it, like, make a crack in that where like it fucking monster comes in and all that stuff, and have some fun with it. And and if you start out with a slow burn and then go completely gonzo by episode 6 or 7, I'm fucking sold. I just don't think that's going to happen.
No,
it doesn't look like it.
It looks like they're going for more along the lines of, and I can't remember the show now. There was a show that was kind of like this in the 90s and didn't do too well because it was slow. And now I can't remember what it's called. But it was the same kind of thing. It was like a mystery that had some supernatural overtones to it. And it was about a small town. And I'm blanking on it. But it was supposed to be a Stephen King-esque kind of thing without being Stephen King. So, yeah, they need to ramp it up just a little bit. So
I don't know why only 12 thumbs up, Doug 34. It's probably because we're so 50-50 on this show, but we got to be real with you, folks.
Yeah.
Gotta be real with you.
Mystery Bunny Gaming says, didn't J.J. Abrams make 11/22/63 as well? I think his production company did.
Yeah, he was behind that.
Yeah.
I heard that was actually good. So
yeah, I know I see it every now and then popping around on different channels. So I might go back and take a look at that. Doug 34 says they can't make Dune or Dark Tower movie format. Needs to be special like Game of Thrones. Yeah, like a big production. Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Yeah, and that's been a big thing going on too, is just budget. They're taking on these shows, they're taking on superhero shows and genre shows, and they're trying to shoot them like dramas. Like the networks hate genre. They always have hated genre because it's expensive, and they want, like, drama's cheap. You can film in a house with some housewives or house husbands or whatever, and have some drama, basically your soap, and you have like a few sets and that's it. This is where Netflix and Amazon is going to destroy them. They have the money.
They have the money. Exactly.
Therefore, they're going to take more chances. And this is like, it's happening before our eyes, folks. I mean, it's, they're panicking. The networks are panicking. Hulu kind of falls in a weird place. It is now a streaming service for Disney. We'll see how it changes. I've heard fundamental changes are coming to Hulu soon. So they aired, by the way, they aired Runaways on Freeform right after, I think the first episode is running or has run tomorrow. Like right after Cloak and Dagger, after tomorrow. And that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah. Felipe Diaz says this looks like the big monster is going to be on the last episode.
Like we get the costume for Cloak and Dagger at the last episode. And this is why I love The Expanse. This is why The Expanse is one of the best shows on TV, if not the best show on TV, because it messes with the format, which I will explain in my next video. It's genius how it does it. And then actually, J.J. Abrams started doing that with his second big show. I almost said his first, but Alias. Alias used to play with the format like that too, and that's what was fun about it. Like they give you a payoff halfway through the season or something like that.
You don't think Felicity changed the format at all?
I didn't watch it. I can't.
I didn't either. I couldn't. Yeah. I couldn't tell you. Jody says, exactly. No half measures. You're either full on, full tilt horror, or you end up with something that's confusing and not in the good way.
Oh, straight up. Because you have to be a fucking genius to pull off creepy. How many genuinely just creepy movies that aren't jump scaring you all the time stuff have come out?
Yeah.
Name me 10 in the last 10 years. You can't. You can't pull off a Shining. That's my example of it. Or even The Exorcist. The Exorcist, I mean, goes nuts, but it's creepy at first. It's a creepy damn movie. Yeah, so you got to be really good with that stuff.
Mary Ashmead says, I think it's odd Henry is having flashbacks now. I
do too. That is a little odd.
Yeah, it's supposed to be that the town is awakening, his memories in him. That's the reason why he left and why he hadn't come back for so long, because he was scared of the town. And it's supposed to be him. I got where they're going with it, is that he's repressing some stuff. So it's reopening all these memories now that he's there. And I'm going to murder your name. I'm sorry. Borpheus Maximus He says, right in the very first scene, they had some crashing through the forest. Yeah, the
yeah. I mean, it's got potential. It really does. The show does. It could turn it around, and we could, I love a slow burn when it has a great payoff. I have that's my favorite part of storytelling is like I love stuff that starts quiet and slow and just gets nuts as the time goes on. I just hope this does that. I hope it. I don't want to judge it too harshly. I haven't seen the rest of the episodes yet, so. But honestly, with J. James' name on it, it's never meant that much to me. J.J. Abrams' name on it, and maybe back in the Alias days, I did like Alias. But since Lost, I've just kind of seen him as like it's not like he sucks. He's a competent filmmaker. He's a competent storyteller. I just think if he paid attention to something, I don't. If he needs, I think he's got ADHD big time. He can't finish anything. I mean, just watch his TED talk. And there's nothing wrong with that. But I bet you if he just focused on something, completely focused on it without any distractions, he'd pull out a masterpiece.
I saw him at WonderCon, if I'm not mistaken, right before when they just announced that he was going to do Star Trek and the first one. And he was like all over the place in that panel, just everywhere. I was like, oh my God, this is going to be bad. And yeah. Felipe Diaz says, and the show is 8.9 on IMDb. Laugh out loud.
Come on. Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Mystery Bunny Gamey asks, how many episodes do you predict Castle Rock will have? Well, they're going to go through the first season because it's Hulu. They're going to show that entire first season, which is 13 episodes? No, 10 episodes.
I think it's 10.
Yeah, it's 10.
Do we think we'll get another season? Is that what you're asking? I think it's a bubble at this point.
Yeah, but it's very bubble.
With the streaming networks, it has to do really, really horrible for them not to give it a second season, especially with JJ's name attached. So I think it will get a second season. Didn't Wes Craven once say that people watch horror to experience fear in a safe way? So yeah, you want to get scared and creeped out by these shows. Yeah. I don't mean to jump or judge the jump scare. A good, well-timed jump scare is awesome. It's great. Mm-hmm. But I like to be utterly creeped out, like from beginning to end. Like Blair Witch. I know some people are like, man, that movie didn't do shit to me. And it probably didn't, but that movie creeped me out. It did. I mean, I bought into it. But you have to buy into it too. I mean, I didn't like have nightmares or anything, but I thought, I was like, that was creepy. I like that. I like how it ended. I like Blair Witch. I know some people didn't, but I did.
Yeah, I just don't like the motion thing with the camera. That's that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, you would. Okay, so he was on the microfiche. Henry was, and one of my old jobs, I had to work on that stuff, and I had to pop a Dramamine every time I go to work, so I wouldn't get freaking seasick going through it, because I had to look up parts, and the guy was too fucking cheap to buy a computer, so I had to look up auto parts like the old way on microfiche, and oh my God.
See, that doesn't bother me, the side to side. It's the shaking around where it just, it has no...
Dude, you microfiche for 4 hours?
I know. You get a headache. I remember back in the day. Leonard Thomas III says that, Jody, I agree. That is what I love about King movies. So I hope it has a lot more to say in the show than JJ.
Yeah, if like Dennis just said, if they put a lot more Stephen King in, then we're good. And right, Mary, she said like maybe remake Needful Things. Needful Things, the television show, would have been outstanding. And yes, it would have been Friday the 13th all over again. And who cares? I don't care. And you could have plucked in every Stephen King thing there and made it a little more fun. Because you know what? Stephen King stories are fun. They're scary, but they're fun. Like even Christine was fun. It's funny and like he's got a wicked sense of humor. A wicked.
You could have actually done all of his stories through the Needful Things backdrop, if you will.
Absolutely.
Of being all those cursed objects. Like it'll start up Cujo. It would start Christine, Carrie, that kind of thing, and all being stemming from this curio shop that is cursed objects.
Yeah.
I think that would have worked. Yeah.
Precisely. If you build up, it's not, if it's a build up and no satisfying payoff, what's the point? That's like experiencing building anticipation for a really great steak. Oh yeah, and being served an empty plate. Absolutely, Jody. I just can't read. Yeah, I would be going after the chef or the writers. True creepy is the best horror for me. Jump scares have been done to death, says Leonard Thomas III. Yeah, they got to be rare. A good one's good, but it's got to be rare.
Yeah, I don't know. Felipe Diaz says Castle Rock reminds me a lot of Dreamcatcher, the movie. Like kind of drama movie at first, but at the half goes full fantasy. Maybe it's going to be like that. I don't think so. I think they're going to keep it grounded. I really do think they're going to keep
I
it
agree
grounded.
with Morpheus Maximus. They should work in some Dark Tower stuff too. Why not? I mean, fucking work everything in, and you can do it without it costing a shitload of money. You can be clever about this stuff. Yeah, I just don't know. I don't get it. I think a lot of people making these shows. I don't know how many. I mean, this whoever was involved in making maybe has made a ton of genre. I don't know, but it just seems like they're not really getting us. Okay, for those of us who like genre, we don't need everything fast and crazy like a Michael Bay movie, but we need shit to move. Okay, Counterpart could be considered a very slow show. Oh goddamn, crazy
crap.
Carlos. Will you ever do a Vikings review? Season starts in a few months. Also, Attack on Titan. Well, for $49.99, yes, we will. Okay, we'll fucking make it happen somehow. I don't know how. I'll have to invent like a little pocket of space time to watch the show. But for that much money, yes, Carlos, absolutely. You local motherfucker, you. God damn it. Boom, God. Says Marcus. Yeah.
Yeah, really.
Avocados, yeah. Yeah, we'll make it happen. So, yeah, if they got to put in more Stephen King, make it crazy, make it fun. But I don't think these people who are making genre really get us. Okay, we like I said, Counterpart is a slow show that really fucking moves and gives you payoffs while keeping the mystery going. Just go and watch that.
Yeah, they give you interesting little tidbits too, and they're not obvious about it. They put it in the background, so you have your Easter eggs, if you will, like what happened to Paris. Paris is now open for business in the other universe. What the hell does that mean? And that's something that's hooked me in. Now I want to know more about that. Yeah. But it was just this little tiny bit that was sitting in the background of a mall that they're walking through, and I'm like, that's the way you do it. Little things like that. Even the little newspaper clippings in the first episode of of this episode, or this series, I should say, when they're looking at Cujo and they're talking about there's all these different Stephen King stories that are referenced in these headlines as they're going through the little news articles. That was great. But we already know those stories.
No, you're absolutely right. And they missed some opportunities to do that. You're right. They did. And I need to address this. Okay, shaving my head is so not an option because it's something I used to do. But I am married to a hairdresser, and what hairdressers like to have is hair to play with. My hair I love my hair, and it is done by my wife, Melissa. I do need a little bit of a trim. It's getting a little long, but no, I can't shave my head. That is against the house rules. Not happening. And you know what? I'm not allowed to grow my hair long either, which sucks because I used to have my hair hella long back in the 90s. I did look like a Viking, actually. Yeah, I straight up except I had like the Joe Dirt beard. My beard wouldn't grow in full. It wasn't pretty. Wasn't pretty. All right. So yeah, that unfortunately, Mako, that cannot happen. That is not happening. For any price. Gary and Dennis, Counterpart was a well-placed masterpiece storytelling. And that's how you do mystery. Not a sizzle, no freaking steak. Right.
Yeah.
That's it. So we are Penn Farm Girl. Yeah, it's a good house rule, and it's like it's one of those deal breakers. I don't have my wife doesn't put rules on me. There's like 2. So like don't cheat and don't shave your head. I think it's pretty reasonable. So there you go. So we will be back. Dennis, are you going to be back to cover this show?
We're going to be doing this later, correct?
Well, we're going to have to see how this one goes. All right, because we're doing it because it airs on the West Coast at 9 yesterday, and I like to be one of the first with the reviews, and we are actually doing it hours after it airs. Show us a long hair picture. Oh no. Okay, yeah, $5. Yes, on Friday I'll dig one up.
Oh man,
I'll dig one up. I'm gonna have to scan it because like it was done on those old pictures that used to take pictures that you have to go and get film developed and shit.
what's
So
that?
yes, yeah, I know. So we'll see how this video does, and we'll stay in touch with you whether it'll be me solo doing it late at night or us just doing back at this time. Now, if this video does well, then we'll keep the time.
Yeah, exactly.
I am Viking bitch. I've never said the contrary. I'm easy. I'm easy and cheap.
We said that from the beginning. We said if someone tries to dump truck full of money up to us, we'll say whatever the hell you want us to say.
Oh God, yeah. Last Jedi, greatest movie ever made.
Yeah, exactly. J.J. Abrams, he's a genius.
Yeah, I'll say Ryan Johnson instead of Rihanna.
So we're gonna be back tomorrow night with the finale of
Cloak and Dagger, and I'll be back in about a half an hour shooting my Expanse season 3 Blu-ray review. It's basically I'm a shill. Yeah, maybe World Class Bullshitters will make a shill video out of me. That'd be great for subs. And so I'm going to be doing I love World Class Bullshitters. They're great. And yeah, so I'm doing any excuse to talk about the Expanse. So the Blu-ray came out pretty much while we were at con, and I watched the hour-long special features, and I have a review. But we're also going to announce winners and some other stuff. So it'll be a short one. It'll be a little short one, but
so Penn Farm Girl asks if we're going to be reviewing The Sinner.
No. I thought about it. Possibly. We'll see. If I end up staying up late tonight, yes, I'll do a quick review on it. I have to watch it though, and I guess it premieres tonight, right? So
yes, it does.
That's a possibility, but I didn't see the first season, so that's kind of a problem.
Different season altogether.
Well then, yeah, why not? So yeah, you're gonna get it. Yeah, that means we got to go. If I'm gonna do 3 podcasts tonight, we got to roll. Thank you everybody for in the chat. You guys are wonderful. Dennis, start thanking people, and I have a new video.
Yeah, I want to say thank you to Penn Farm Girl for the $5 super chat. Excuse me, and Crazy Carlos, you crazy son of a gun. $49.99. What the hell, man? And now, thank you, Rough Girl. Thank you, Mako. Thank you, Movie Fanobi. Thank you, Borpheus Maximus. Artemis Over Easy. Jody Morks. Doug 34. Felipe Diaz. Leonard Thomas III. Mary Ashmead. The Bezopolis. There we go.
God, these are great names. These are great names, people.
Viking bitch, if I didn't say it already. Mystery Bunny Gaming, thank you.
I don't know why that one makes me laugh. It just does. Mystery bunnies.
Apple Crow, thank you. The Mystery Bunnies gaming goes in the mystery box.
There you go.
There we go. Slurmy Scott. And who else do we have here? I already got Mako. And I know there is one other person way up here, but I don't know where they're at. So thank you, anybody else that I missed as well.
And you are watching our brand new, not super duper up to date, but I did take out the name I was supposed to take because I accidentally doxed somebody, which I shouldn't have done. So that was our wonderful and lovely and generous patrons. And at the end there, you saw an example of the stuff you get from us because we give you gifts if you support us. Now, you can support us for as little as $1, and that's great. That's basically tipping, and you get access to future exclusive content. We honestly don't put a lot of content on the Patreon. That's why we actually give you shit. We also, if you do the $5, you get 3 comic books. I used to own a comic book store. I had exclusives there. You will get 3 of those. They are rare. And if you do the $15 tier, you get a What's in the Box box, which is better than Loot Crate because I give you good shit. The last set of boxes that went out and the future ones for our current patrons involve actual vintage Star Wars Kenner action figures that were mine when I was a kid. So
wow,
you guys are awesome. So again, Crazy Carlos, dude, god damn, that's That was crazy.
Yeah, that was crazy, man.
Yeah. So for the super chats, we also got Rough Girl said hello. We got $1.99. Thank you, Rough Girl. $5 Pen Farm Girl. Show us a long hair pick. I got to remember that. Please note that down, Dennis. And Crazy Carlos for $49.99 wants us to review Vikings, which I'm sure Viking Bitch will be happy with. And then Attack on Titan. I would consider Attack on Titan because I do enjoy that. That is properly sick. I'm not the biggest, anime fan in the world, but I like that one for some reason. Probably because there's a lot of people eating going on. I don't know.
And since people were asking where is Voltron, Voltron is in repair at the moment, so he's in the shop.
Yep. All right. So everybody, you guys have a great night, and I will be back very shortly for, it looks like maybe 2 more videos. Like, we'll see. The center will cross your fingers. But it depends on how long the Expanse video that's coming up is going to be short. So Castle Rock fans, hang in there. We're gonna cover the show, and hopefully it gets good for everybody's sake. For everybody's sake. So Dennis, take us out. Oh, wait. Oh, was the box Girl. 1 or 2? Rough Farm Girl, you get 2 boxes. All right, you get them every 6 months, but it's spaced out. And you have to be a $15 subscriber, and there has to be a certain amount of payments. I haven't charged. Excuse my language. I forgot to charge for last month. I got to do that tonight. So so you should be getting another box, Rough Girl. Yeah. There's a lot of you who are getting a second box, and you are all getting the vintage action figures. I had enough for 2 rounds. I think there's only enough space for like 2 more. So after that's up, those will be gone. And we did get some new patrons that I have to ask their permission to put their name up first before I do, though. All right. So
nice.
Okay. So we should take us out, Dennis.
All right. Children of Earth, don't let the door hit your ass on the way out.
And may the small folks sing songs of your greatness. See you in a little bit.
Good night, everyone.